accusations, lies, and DNA tests. My mother-in-law almost destroyed my life. I'm Kylie, and the last few years of my life have been a rollercoaster of accusations, betrayal, and heartbreak I never saw coming. It all started with a woman who seemed determined to see me fail. Little did I know how obsession would lead to a crisis so devastating it almost shattered my family. I'm a 28-year-old fitness enthusiast teaching at a local gym. That's where I met Jack. We instantly clicked. He was this undeniably cool guy, a breath of fresh air. We quickly fell in love. Jack's mom, Linda, however, is a whole other story. This woman has had it out for me since day one, and she never hid it. One fateful day, Jack, his brother Mike, and I were all at the gym. Jack was pumping iron, Mike was burning calories on the treadmill, and I was leading a class. Suddenly, like a dark storm cloud, Linda walked in unannounced. "Hey Linda," I greeted her, attempting to be friendly. She simply narrowed her eyes at me, her gaze cold and calculating. "Watching your boys, are you?" "He's just doing my job here, Linda," I responded, trying to remain calm. Parading around in those tight clothes, she sneered. "Mom, come on, that's not fair," Jack interjected, clearly embarrassed. Linda turned on him, her voice laced with venom. "I know what I see. Your wife's too friendly with everyone, especially the men." "Mom, you're being ridiculous," Jack retorted. "I know what's going on here," Linda continued, refusing to back down. "I'm just working. There's nothing going on," I insisted, trying to reason with her. Linda was on a roll. "I've seen your Instagram, Kylie. All those likes and comments from men. What's that about?" Jack intervened again. "Mom, those are just her clients and friends." Linda wasn't having it. "Friends, or something more. You need to open your eyes." "Jack," I could feel the tension rising like a suffocating blanket. This wasn't new. Linda had always been suspicious of me, but this was the first time she confronted me so openly. "Look, Linda," I said, trying to keep my voice steady, "I love Jack. Nothing's going on." Her response was chilling. "We'll see about that." She stormed out, leaving the three of us in an awkward silence. Jack put his arm around me, a gesture that felt hollow. "Sorry about her, Kylie. She's just protective." I tried to laugh it off, but inside, I knew this was just the beginning of something bigger, a battle I didn't want to fight. Here I was, caught in the middle of a family I was trying so hard to be a part of. That night, Jack tried to reassure me. "Yeah, my mom, she's always been tough, but we'll get through this together." I wanted to believe him. I really did. But Linda's accusations lingered in my mind, like a poison slowly seeping into my soul. And that was just the beginning. A few weeks later, we were all at Jack's place for a family dinner. Jack, Mike, Linda, and myself. Mike was the first to break the deafening silence. "So, Kylie, how's the gym life treating you?" I forced a smile. "Same old, really. Busy as always." Linda, who had been quietly simmering, seized the opportunity. "Busy flirting with your male clients? You mean?" Her voice dripped with malice. Jack, sitting next to me, visibly stiffened. "Mom, not now, please." But Linda was relentless, spiraling into chaos. "I'll say what I need to. Men drooling over you like you're some kind of prize." I could feel my face flushing with a mix of anger and humiliation. "Linda, those are just clients and gym friends. Nothing inappropriate," I insisted. But my words seemed to bounce off her hardened exterior. She snorted dismissively. "Is that what they call it these days?" Mike jumped in, attempting to defend me. "Mom, you're way off base here." Linda's expression turned even more vicious, like a viper about to strike. Always defending her. "What's going on between you two? Always together, always whispering." Jack's face was a mask of confusion and anger. "Mom, what the hell are you talking about?" Linda delivered a venomous accusation. "I'm talking about betrayal, Jack. Your wife and your brother sneaking around behind your back." I was speechless, paralyzed by the sheer insanity of her words. "Linda, that's a disgusting thing to say." I managed to choke out. "Mike's like a brother to me." "Mom, you're way out of line. Kylie's my sister-in-law," Mike stated firmly. "That's it." Jack's voice was low and dangerous. "Mom, you need to stop. This is crazy." But Linda wouldn't let up, fueled by her own twisted logic. "Open your eyes, Jack. I'm just trying to protect you from her." The rest of the meal passed in uncomfortable silence, each bite a reminder of the simmering animosity in the room. After dinner, Jack pulled me aside, his eyes filled with doubt. "Kylie, is there any truth to what my mom is saying about you and Mike?" I felt like I had been slapped across the face. "Jack, are you serious? Your mom's accusations are insane. You know me. You know Mike. How could you even think that?" Jack paced the room, running his hands through his hair, a clear sign of his inner turmoil. "I don't know what to think anymore. Kylie, my mom's got me questioning everything." I was on the verge of tears. "So, you're taking her side. You believe her over me?" He stopped pacing, his voice filled with despair. "I don't know what I believe. I need some time to think." And with that, he left the room, leaving me alone, hurt and confused, his doubt casting a dark shadow over everything. A few months after the disastrous dinner, I found out I was pregnant. You'd think this would be happy news, but with everything going on, it just added fuel to the fire. I remember telling Jack, we were in our kitchen, a place where we shared so many laughs before all this mess. Jack, I'm pregnant, I said, my voice trembling. He looked up, his expression now unreadable. Pregnant? Well, are you sure? His reaction was devoid of the joy I had expected. Yes, Jack, we're going to have a baby. He came over and hugged me, but it felt forced, his eyes conveying a lingering doubt. And it wasn't long before Linda got wind of the news. We were at her place for another excruciating visit. As soon as we walked in, Linda was on us like a hawk. So, I hear you're pregnant, Kylie, she said, her voice dripping with unspoken accusations. Yeah, we're expecting, Jack replied, trying to sound upbeat. Linda raised an eyebrow, her gaze piercing. Expecting, and you're sure it's yours? Jack's jaw clenched. Mom, don't start this again. But Linda wasn't deterred. I'm just saying what everyone's thinking. Jack, your wife's been very friendly with a lot of men. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Linda, are you seriously suggesting that I cheated on Jack? She shrugged, feigning innocence. I'm just concerned for my son. You can't blame a mother for that. This is crazy. You need to stop. Linda shot him a look. You stay out of this. Mike, this is between Jack, Kylie, and me. The rest of the visit was unbearable. Linda kept dropping hints and making snide comments, like she was trying to turn Jack against me. When we finally got home, Jack sat on the couch, staring at nothing, lost in his own internal battle. Jack, talk to me, please, I pleaded, sitting next to him. He looked at me, his eyes filled with confusion and hurt. Kylie, my mom's words, they're getting to me. I don't want to believe her, but what? Jack, do you think I cheated on you? That I'm carrying someone else's baby? My voice cracked with emotion. Running his hands through his hair, he confessed, I don't know what to think. Kylie, this is all just too much. A tear rolled down my cheek. This was supposed to be one of the happiest times in our lives, and it was being poisoned by his mother's relentless accusations. That night, we went to bed in silence, the gap between us widening with each passing moment. All I knew was that I was carrying our child, and somehow I had to find a way to protect our little family from falling apart. The day our son, Lucas, was born should have been the happiest day of our lives. But thanks to all the drama, it felt like walking on eggshells. We were in the hospital room, me exhausted, and Jack looking like he didn't know whether to smile or frown. When the nurse handed Lucas to me, I was overwhelmed by his beauty, with blonde hair and bright blue eyes. He's beautiful, Kylie, Jack whispered, but I could see the wheels turning in his head, doubt creeping into his expression. Yeah, he is, I replied, trying to ignore the unspoken questions hanging in the air. Later, when Linda and Mike came to visit, that's when things really hit the fan. Well, isn't he a surprise? Blonde and blue, Linda remarked slyly. Mom, what are you trying to say? Jack questioned, his voice tight. She just shrugged, feigning innocence. Nothing, just an observation. Mike added, he's perfect, Kylie. But Linda wouldn't let it go, her words laced with venom. It's just interesting, is all. Kylie's dark head, the dark head I felt my face burning with anger. Linda, genetics can be unpredictable. My cousin has blonde hair. It's not unheard of. After they left, Jack was quiet. Please, I said, my voice barely above a whisper. Don't let your mom get in your head. He looked at me, then at Lucas. I know, Kylie, it's just with everything she's been saying, I reached for his hand, pleading for him to trust me. Jack, look at me. I've never lied to you. You know that. He sighed, defeated. I know, she's just got this way of getting under my skin. I'm trying to manipulate him to her delusional mindset. Jack, we need to get past this, I said, my voice firm. We're a family now. We can't let your mom ruin this. He nodded, a glimmer of resolve in his eyes. You're right, we can't. I'll talk to her. I'll set things straight. But even as he said it, I knew it wasn't going to be that easy. Linda had planted seeds of doubt, and they were growing, choking the life out of our relationship. Over the next few weeks, it was like walking on a tightrope. Every gesture was loaded with unspoken questions and accusations. The tension in our home had reached a breaking point. It was a chilly evening, the atmosphere thick with unspoken resentments. Jack paced the living room like a caged animal, his anxiety palpable. Lucas was asleep, blissfully unaware of the storm brewing around him. Jack stopped suddenly, turning to face me, his eyes hard, his voice even harder. Kylie, I can't take this anymore. We're doing a DNA test for Lucas. I felt my blood run cold. A DNA test? Are you out of your mind? Jack, he was unyielding. It's not just about you and me. Kylie, I want Mac to take the test too. That hit me like a ton of bricks. Mike, your brother, do you seriously think I had God? Jack, he didn't back down. You heard my mom. There are doubts, Kylie, and they're eating me alive. I was shaking with fury. So, your mom's delusional ideas are driving this. What happened to trusting your wife? Jack's voice was cold and distant. This isn't just about trust. It's about certainty. I need to know for sure. Fighting back tears, I countered. And if I say no, what's your grand plan then? Jack, his response was chilling. If you refuse, you and Lucas can't stay. I need to sort this out, and I can't do that with you here. I stared at him, disbelief and anger warring within me. You're kicking out your own wife and son just like that. His voice remained detached. That's the way it has to be. Kylie. I spent the night tossing and turning, anger and despair consuming me. The next morning, I confronted Jack again, hoping he'd come to his senses. Jack, we need to talk. You can't be serious about this. I pleaded, holding Lucas in my arms, desperately trying to appeal to his heart. Jack was stone, his eyes devoid of emotion. I've thought it over. Kylie, this is what I have to do. That's it. I couldn't hold back my tears anymore. This is insane. Jack, you're choosing your mother's paranoia over your family. I don't even recognize you anymore. His mind blinded by Linda and her manipulations, I said while trembling. His tone firm. It's about finding the truth and proving I'm the father of Lucas. I was aghast. And what about us? Jack, what about our marriage? I asked while shedding. His heart unfazed by the years we spent together as his decision became his reality. His response was a knife to my chest that still haunts me to this day with pain and despair. I don't know what Kylie right now. I just need answers. With a heavy heart, I packed our bags. This whole time, while Jack could have supported me, he was blindsided by Linda and decided to believe her over me, oblivious to the heartache surrounding him. At my mom's place, I finally let it all out. He's making us take a DNA test. He's lost his mind. My mom wrapped her arms around me, offering a sense of stability I longed for. That fool threw away his family over some nonsense. I cry. I don't even recognize him anymore. Mom, she held me tight, whispering words of comfort. You're strong, Kylie. You'll get through this. We'll get through this together. In that moment, I knew I was facing a future full of uncertainties. A single mother with a broken heart trying to make sense of the wreckage. I finally agreed to Jack's demand for a DNA test. That now seemed like the only option. It felt like walking into a storm, surrendering myself to the unknown. I was at my mom's place when I called Jack to tell him my decision. Jack, I'll do the damn test, I said, trying to keep my voice steady, not wanting to break down again. There was a pause on the other end, a moment of hesitation that revealed the cracks in his conviction. I'll arrange it, he said curtly, and Mike agreed to do it too. I clenched my phone tighter, fighting back the surge of anger and resentment. Let's just get this over with, I said, ending the call before I could say something I'd regret. I was starting to lose my sanity because the lies and accusations became a nightmare reality. A week later, we got the call. The results were in. My heart was pounding as we all gathered at the clinic again. Jack, Linda, Mike, and myself. Linda, who had insisted on coming, wore a smug expression, confident that her suspicions would be validated. The nurse handed the envelope to Jack, his hand shaking as he opened it. He stared at the results, or what felt like an eternity, his face turning pale. Finally, he spoke, his voice barely above a whisper. I'm the father. Lucas is my son. I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding, relief washing over me, followed by a wave of anger at the injustice of it all. I told you, Jack, I told you, I said, my voice trembling with emotion. Linda's face was a picture of shock and disbelief, her carefully constructed world crumbling before her eyes. But how? She stammered. I was so sure. Max snorted, his voice filled with contempt. Yeah, you were sure, Mom. Sure about ruining our family over your paranoia. I don't know what to say, Linda mumbled, her gaze shifting nervously. I was furious, tears streaming down my face. You want to say something now? After you put us through hell? Jack reached out to me, but I recoiled, pushing him away. Don't, Jack, just don't. I can't believe you did this. Jack, you and Mom, you two deserve each other. Linda tried to say something, but Jack cut her off, his voice filled with disgust. No, Mom, you've done enough. I'm done with this. And with that, he walked out, leaving his mother behind to face the consequences of her actions. As for me, I just felt empty, drained of all emotion. It had all been for nothing. Linda had pushed everyone away with her lies and accusations, and it had torn our family apart. I walked out of that clinic knowing that things would never be the same again, that the wounds Linda had inflicted were too deep to heal. The day of reckoning had come. I was determined to make things right and to move on, to rebuild my life and protect my son on the toxicity that had consumed our family. I decided it was time to bring everything out into the open. I invited Jack and Linda to my house, knowing that a confrontation was inevitable. The atmosphere was tense as they walked in, their faces etched with a mixture of anxiety and guilt. Thanks for coming, I started, trying to keep my voice steady, to not lose all control. There's a lot we need to discuss. I looked directly at Linda, my eyes burning with a mixture of anger and contempt. Linda, well, I'm here. Let's hear it then. A silence fell between us. Jack then suddenly spoke up, a note of desperation in his voice. Kylie, I've been thinking maybe we can just forget all this happened. Start over, you know? I let out a hollow laugh. Forget? Oh, you've got no idea what you've put me through, Jack. I reached under the table and slammed the divorce papers in front of him, causing him to jump back shocked and confused. He stared at them, dumbfounded, unable to comprehend the gravity of the situation. Divorce, you can't be serious, he whispered. I then presented the second folder filled with the photographs, images that would shatter his world. This is why, Jack, this is why there's no going back. His mouth open and closed, but no words came out. He was speechless, caught in the web of his own deceit. Linda tried to defend him, her voice dripping with venom. This doesn't prove anything. She's not the right woman for you anyway, Jack. He will see. I stepped in, stopping her, and stated, oh, it proves a lot, Linda. It shows Jack's hypocrisy. He accused me of cheating, and yet here he is, the real cheater. Jack tried to interject, but I raised my hand, silencing him. I can't believe you, Jack, Mike said, his voice filled with disgust. All this time, you were pointing fingers at Kylie, and you were the guilty one. You've broken everything with your selfishness and blinded judgment. Jack tried to explain, but Mike wouldn't let him. It's not what it looks like. I am being honest. I'm out. He stood up to leave, his face etched with disappointment. But Linda reached out to him, pleading, Michael, please. But Mike would hear none of it. No, Mom, you and Jack have gone too far this time. And with that, he left, leaving a palpable void in his wake. Linda, still clutching the photos, turned to Jack, her voice filled with desperation. You can do better than her. You'll see. You don't need her. But Jack, still in shock, didn't respond. He just sat there, a picture of betrayal and guilt. I looked at them, my decision firm, my voice resolute. You both made your beds. Now you can lie in them. I'm done being part of this toxic mess. I'm done with your lies. Linda tried to speak, but I raised my hand, stopping her. Linda, there's nothing left to say. I hope it was worth it. As they left, I felt a strange mixture of relief and sadness. The chapter of my life with Jack and Linda was finally closed, and I was ready to move on, to embrace the future with hope and determination. After the dust settled, the divorce was final. It was a small victory in the grand scheme of things, but it felt like justice. I focused on Lucas and my work, rebuilding our lives piece by piece. My mom was a constant support, helping me navigate single motherhood. She brought joy and light into my life. One evening, a few months after the divorce, Linda showed up at my door, her eyes filled with a mixture of desperation and entitlement. I could not bear to see her as she brought up such pain and despair in my life, just for the sake of lies. I need to see Lucas. He's my grandson. I stood in the doorway, blocking her path, my voice cold and unwavering. Not a chance, Linda. She tried to push past me, but I stood firm, refusing to let her into my home, into our lives. She was the reason Lucas and I were separated from our family, which now only consists of myself and my mother. Linda's voice distorted with anger, which became more and more present with everything I do while attempting to regain her sanity. I'm his grandmother, Kylie. You can't keep me from him. I was unmoved, knowing that allowing her into Lucas's life would only bring more chaos and heartache. He deserves to know his grandmother. I scoffed. No, Linda, you forfeited that right when you tried to tear our family apart with your lies. Linda's face twisted with anger and desperation. You're being unreasonable, Kylie. I'm still family. To that I said, family. No, Linda, you are not. She left, defeated and alone. Later, Matt told me that Jack was miserable, wallowing in self-pity and regret, and blaming Linda for everything that had gone wrong. He couldn't stand what our family had become, thanks to their actions. His heart was broken as he knew he lost the most important people in his life. As for Jack, you've got your mom to thank for this mess, I told him one day on the phone, my voice devoid of emotion. No love or anger. Don't bother calling again. I will not speak to you again. Jack was left to deal with a wreckage of his choices, with only Linda for company. But even she was no comfort, as he blamed her for everything that had gone wrong. I focused on Lucas and my work, rebuilding our lives piece by piece, creating a haven of love and stability for my son. My mom was a constant support, helping me navigate single motherhood, reminding me of my strength and resilience. One evening, while Lucas was asleep and I sat with a cup of tea, my mom sat beside me, her hand resting on mine. You did the right thing, Kylie, she said softly, her eyes filled with pride. It wasn't easy, but it was right. He wasn't the person for you and was easily manipulated. I miss Jack. Mom, I confess, but we're stronger for it, she said, turning her voice stern with purpose. Ahead was a future filled with hope and the promise of something better, a future where Lucas and I could thrive, free from the toxicity of the past. Jack and Linda were part of a past best forgotten. This was our time, our chance to start anew, and I was ready to take it, armed with the strength of my love for my son and the unwavering support of my mom. So, Reddit, after hearing my story, I have to ask, do you think I handled this situation correctly? Was I right to divorce Jack, given his blind faith in his mother's accusations? Should I have allowed Linda to see Lucas, despite her role in all of this? I'm genuinely curious to hear your perspectives and advice. as I'm still processing everything that happened. I welcome your honest opinions, your insights, and any similar experiences you may have had. I want to know if you think I made the right choices on myself and my son, and how you might have handled things differently. Your feedback will help me heal and move forward as I navigate this new chapter of my life, where I'm solely dedicated to the best future for my son and I.